To really use Google effectively, you've got to know these mathematical equations, the Boolean logic stuff, plus signs, minus signs, quotation marks, parentheses. And a lot of you spend a lot of time on Google. The typical person spends almost 2 hours a day finding stuff, looking for stuff. And you might say, well, it's not 2 hours a day for me. Add it up. And to really do it right, that's the stuff you got to remember. Plus signs and minus signs and or in all uppercase, parentheses, quotation marks, semicolon. And here's the other thing. You have to do these all in the correct order. Okay, seriously, how many of you are going to remember any of this stuff? How does this look? Well, if you really wanted to run a really good search on Google, that's the mathematical equation. That's a Google query right there. But remember, Google only accesses about 4.8% of the free and publicly accessible internet. The rest is this thing called the invisible web. And oh, by the way, there's 9.4 billion invisible web pages. So how would you just like a tool that does the whole thing for you? The only thing you have to remember is the name of a company, or an industry, or a job title. And that's what we've developed, the Sales Intel Engine. All the Boolean things, all the fancy logic runs in the background. That query you saw, that long 30-word query, that was actually a query that I pulled from the background of one of the searches that I did. So I want to be clear, it's not like a new fandangled database that you have access to, but what it does do is it searches all of Google and all of my favorite invisible websites, and like I said, you don't have to remember anything. Don't even try to enter quotation marks. Don't even think of entering a minus sign, because if you do, it'll break the search. It won't work. Just remember a word, remember a city, remember part of a job title. Now the engine is divided into 6 different sections. News, which is really designed to practice the 3x5. Spend just a couple of seconds finding information about the other person before you pick up the phone, before you walk in the room. Company info will give you some basic information about a company. Sales triggers, how do we find out what's going on in the other person's world where they want to actually maybe take your call today. People search, I'll argue this is the most powerful people search engine on the planet. Prospecting, we're going to automate finding lists and leads and documents. We're going to automate how to provide information to your prospects and clients in ways that they care about. Might not necessarily have anything to do with you, but what they care about. So let's take each one of these sections. All right, so news. Now notice that I'm not using any quotation marks, anything. I'm dialing the phone. I just hit the last digit. I go in, I type in Mortensen Construction 2018, and I get recent news articles. What's going on in their world right now? Press releases. Obviously, this is something they care about because they were willing to put it out in the press. Hey, congratulations on getting that $4 billion contract. That's really cool. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Get the person talking about him or herself. Social media posts. What are other people saying about them? Blog posts. What are they putting out? And this is pretty cool. It's general search results without all the junk. So that's the news tab. Company information. Get some basic information about the organization before you make the call. How big are they? How many employees do they have? Who are some of their executives? Those kinds of things. I type it in, I get an overview. I can click on any one of these and I learn a little bit about the company. How many employees, revenue, what they do for a living. I can pull up their social media accounts. Make it easy to follow them on Twitter, on Facebook, on LinkedIn. If it's a nonprofit organization, I can type in the name of the company. Nonprofit organizations, there's a theater in Minneapolis called Guthrie. I type in Minneapolis and I'm going to pull up an overview. Again, looking at their social accounts. It's a nonprofit. I can actually pull up their entire financial statements, their retirement plans, employee reviews. What are employees saying about the executive team? Court cases. And again, general search results. So instead of getting 12 million, I get the 2,500 that I will actually care about. Sales triggers. What's a sales trigger? It's what's going on in your world today that might actually make you want to take my call. When a new executive is hired, a CEO, CIO, president, vice president, CTO, they like to evaluate the situation, evaluate their existing vendors, and then oftentimes they might actually be interested in hearing from somebody else. General Mills, chief, 2018, hey, they've got a new chief marketing officer. Retirements, partnerships, mergers and acquisitions. And who are they hiring? That can give you some insight into what's going on in their world. People search. Let's say you're at a networking event. You meet somebody. They're in the technology industry at 3M. They live in London. And their last name is Smith. What's their first name? I don't know. I can remember Smith. How are you going to find Smith, who works in technology in London at 3M? Well, you just type in the words and let the sales intel engine do it for you. I want to find everybody at 3M who have the word document as part of their job title. Manager of documents, vice president of documents. I don't know, let's just see. Find me all the people at 3M where the word document is in the title. Here's your 47 prospects that you might want to be calling on. Again, I can click on any one of these. I don't have to be connected at any level, and it'll pull up their full profile. Go find me chief technology officers in Seattle. But don't find me all of them. Just find me the ones in the financial services industry, and I can get those folks as well. So an incredibly powerful people search engine, and I can even find email addresses. But I do things a little bit different. I give you the actual source of the information. Because I figure that, well, if this prospect is on this list, on this member directory, attended this conference, well, and there's other people on that list, I bet you those folks might be good prospects as well. How do we find an email address? Well, remember that for most companies, their email address is the same back end as their website address. So if I work for a widget corporation, website's www.widget.com, email address is probably srichter@widget.com. So once I know the website address, I can usually figure out your email address. I'm looking for email addresses for people who work at DocuTech. And look at the kinds of places where we're going to look for those email addresses. On profiles, biographies, PDF files, which would be membership directories, spreadsheets, attendee lists, attendee rosters, registrant lists, emails that are out there in the cloud, the Google Cloud, the DocuCloud, Amazon Cloud, emails with direct phone numbers, and I can even find personal email addresses like Gmail addresses. Docutech.com, I'm looking for Susie Smith. What do you think her email address is? Probably smith@docutech.com. But maybe even more important, I'm going to download this list. Because if this person, H. Gardner, is on there, I bet you that's a pretty good list that might have some other prospects in there for me. Documents. Documents are great. It gets you the right information, objective information, to help you with a proposal, to help you with an article you might be writing. But I love this to help me stay in front of prospects and clients in ways that are relevant to what they care about. I can go find industry trends, downloadable research reports, other people's PowerPoint presentations related to a topic, a company, an industry, other people's proposals, templates, documents that have been stored online, price sheets. I can type in a product name, a part name, a company name. Are there any price sheets out there? Annual reports, general spreadsheets, or just even general PDF, Word documents, other types of documents. Let me give you an example. You see, John told me that he's got to do a report. He's doing a presentation at the conference on marketing trends for 2018. He told me that when we met. That's why he couldn't buy today, because he's really busy. I go back to my office. Instead of sending a thank you note, thank you so much, John, for meeting with me. It was great. I'll call you in 3 months as you requested. My note to John's going to be, hey, John, thanks so much for meeting with me. I really appreciate it. Say you mentioned that you're preparing a presentation on marketing trends. Stumbled across this online and thought you might be interested. All I did was type in the word marketing 2018, hit the trends button. Notice that the engine automatically put the word marketing as part of the title. You don't have to remember any of that stuff. Here's somebody else's PowerPoint presentation that I discovered, John. I thought it might be helpful to you as you prepare your PowerPoint presentation. Oh, here's some price sheets, some price lists, all sorts of things. Stay in touch with your prospects and clients in ways that they might care about. And prospecting. This automates the whole concept of list building. And look at the kind of lists I can build. You can find member directories, attendee lists, conferences, contact and industry association, employee lists related to your terms, Chamber of Commerce lists, educational institution. And again, all these will designed to have contact information. Nonprofits, government lists, business directories, customer distributor lists, and vendor lists. Let me give you a couple of examples. Hey, go find me. I'm interested in the pharmaceutical industry. Okay, here's some member directories in the pharmaceutical industry. Here are some lists of attendees at conference, registrant lists, all sorts of things. Here are companies with the word pharmaceutical as part of the name of the company, and here's their staff directory. Educational institutions where the word pharmaceutical is part of the name of the institution, the school. State government lists. Again, all designed to have full contact information. Client lists, vendor lists, price lists, all sorts of great things. All you've got to do is remember, just type in one word, pharmaceutical, and really cool stuff shows up. And here's another neat thing. This whole system is mobile enabled. So I can go, it's not an app, it's just a website you have to access. So you can go and it works on your iPad, it works on your, obviously your desktop, but it also works on your mobile device. Just click the horizontal button and there's your menu item. Using the sales intel engine to find the right person, make sure the first words out of our mouth are about them. We'll call on the right person at the right time with the right message.